So in the last lecture, we have seen the syllabus and introduction to the Programming Laboratory 1 course, wherein we are going to learn C++ programming language. So today I am going to start with the unit number 1. The name of the unit is Fundamentals of Object-Oriented Programming. And in today's lecture, we are going to see what is C++, the origin of C++, that is history of C++, object-oriented programming features, what are the different C++ standard libraries, some of the usage of C++ where C++ language is used, then some of the features of C++ we are going to see. Then we are going to see C++ program, simple hello world program. Then we are going to see the C++ keywords and C++ data types. So what is C++? C++ is a general purpose programming language. It's a programming language. It is created by Jarne Strostrup as an extension of the C programming language. C with classes. He's worked with the C programming language and he want to add the classes into C, that is some object-oriented features into C. So he has developed this C++ programming language. C++ is general purpose, case sensitive, free form programming language that supports object-oriented, procedural and generic programming. So this C++ is case sensitive programming language. What is meant by case sensitive is, suppose you have written hello, H capital, HELLO is different from hello, you have written H small, HELLO. So it is called as case sensitive. It is object oriented programming language. We are going to see what are the features of object oriented and what is exactly object oriented. Again, it is procedural language, but most focus is on object oriented. C++ is middle level language as it encapsulates both high as well as low level language features. So it is called as C++ middle level language. So this person has developed this C++ programming language. Name of the person is Jarne Strostrup. He is born in 30 December 1950 in Denmark. His nationality is Danish and his education is, he has completed MSc and he has completed PhD from University of Cambridge, and it is well known for C++ developer. He has many awards. He is also fellow of ACM and IEEE. So this person developed the C++ programming language. So before starting with the C++ programming language, we are starting with some of the origins and history of C++. So the C++ programming language has history going back to 1979, when Strostrup was doing work for his PhD thesis. He began work on C with classes, which, as the name implies, was meant to be the superset of C language. His goal was to add object-oriented programming into the C++. So he want to add the object-oriented features in C language, and he has developed the C++. His language include classes, basic inheritance, inlining, default function arguments, and strong type checking, in addition to all the features of C language. So in 1983, the name of the language was changed from C with classes to C++. Previously, the name of the language is C with classes, and in 1983, it's changed to C++. Plus plus is the increment operator, which is the nothing but the next version. So they have given the name as C++. C++ programming language was developed in 1980 by Jarny Strostrup at Bell Laboratory of AT&T, that is American Telephone and Telegraph Laboratory, which is located in US. So this was developed in 80. So in 1985, C++ was implemented as commercial product. By doing some work in C++ in 1985, they have implemented this as a commercial product. In 1990, Turbo C++ was released as commercial product. In 1990, Turbo C++ was released as commercial product. In 1998, the C++ Standard Committee published the first international standard for C++, that is ISO IEC 14882 1998, which is normally known as C++ 98. After this, in mid 2011, the new C++ standards, that is C++ 11, was finished. And what they have added into it, they have included regular expression support, a randomization library, a new C++ time library, atomic support, a standard threading library, a new loop for new for loop syntax providing functionality similar to for each loop in certain other languages. The Atto keyword, the new container classes, and better support for unions and array initialization list and variadic templates. So the work still is going on to add some new functionality into C++ programming language. Next is object-oriented programming. C++ supports the object-oriented programming. There are four major pillars of object-oriented programming that is used in C++. In later, we will see what is exactly object-oriented programming features. For time being, there are four important major pillars of object-oriented, which is included in C++. So first is inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but whatever you have created already, that you have to make use of. That is reusability. It is called as inheritance. Next is polymorphism. Polymorphism means a particular thing has many forms. That is called as polymorphism. So in this, we are going to learn how to make use of this polymorphism concept in C++. Next is encapsulation. So whatever data along with the functions are encapsulated into a particular class, that is called as encapsulation. Next is abstraction. Showing only the important features to the outer world is called as abstraction. Hiding the implementation details from the user is called as abstraction. Only showing the important features to the user and hiding the implementation is called as abstraction. So these are the four major pillars of object-oriented programming language. Next is C++ standard libraries. So these standard libraries are divided into three parts. First is the core library, which includes the data types, variables, and literals. So this is the basic library which consist of the different data types, different variables, and different literals. Next is the standard library, which includes the set of functions manipulating strings, files, etc. So it is called as standard library, wherein built-in functions are present. For example, you are manipulating the string, you are playing with the files, etc. Next is standard template library, which includes the set of methods manipulating a data structure. So this is the third type of library. It is in short called as STL, which consists a set of methods manipulating data structure. So again, I am repeating, your C++ standard library is divided into three parts. First one is core library, second one is standard library, third one is standard template library. So all the functions, variables, data types, set of methods are divided into these three categories. So what is the usage of C++? Where C++ language is used? By the help of C++ programming language, we can develop different types of secure and robust applications. So first is Windows application. You can develop any Windows application by using the C++ programming language. Next, it is also used for client server application, wherein you will have a client. That client is going to communicate with the server. At that time, you can use C++ language to do the communication. So in such kind of application, we can make use of C++ language. Next is device drivers. You are familiar with this term. Particular hardware has its drivers. So that drivers has been written in C++. So almost every hardware requires a drivers, and that drivers has been written in C or C++ programming language. Next, it is used for embedded firmwares. Again, for firmwares, C++ language is used to use the application or that firmware. So what are the different C++ features? C++ is object-oriented programming language. It provides lots of features. First, it is simple. It is readable. You can, by looking at the code, you can guess what is written. That's why it is called as simple. Next, it is machine independent or portable. So once you compile a program on particular machine, and that program you need to execute on another machine, at that time you need to compile it again. For every computer, you need to compile the C++ program and you have to execute that on that particular platform. It is called as machine independent, or it is portable. It is the middle level programming language. So it's an interface between hardware and the user. That's why it is called as middle level programming language. Next is structured programming language. Whatever you have written, it is in a systematic manner. It uses the top-down approach. That's why it is called as structured programming language. Each had this C++ has rich library. Whatever you want to do is present in C++. So it is called as rich library. Next is memory management. So you can dynamically allocate memory in C++. So this is the one advantage of C++. You can automatically manage the memory. You can allocate the memory. You can deallocate the memory and so on. Next is fast speed. So whatever you are written in C++, it will be executed fastly on a particular computer. Then again it uses the pointers. You are familiar with the pointer concept. Same concept is used in C++. C++ is familiar with the, or it is used pointers. Again, it uses the recursion. A particular function calling itself is called as recursion. So it supports the recursion. Next is extensible. It This C++ programming language is extensible to a particular thing. Next is it is object oriented. So it supports all the features of object oriented programming language. Next is it is compiler based. It uses a compiler having different bits. Suppose you are having operating system of 32 bits and 64 bits. So depends on that particular compiler and depends on that platform, it will generate the machine code. So next is I'm going to explain the C++ program, simple C++ program. So first statement is include iostring.h. That header file you need to add. As you have done in stdio.h in C, you have to make use of hash include iostring.h. What is this iostring.h? This includes the standard input output library functions. It provides cin and cout methods for reading from input and writing to output respectively. So next statement you need to write in your program is hash include conio.h, that is console.io.h. Again it is one header file that you need to include. What is the purpose of this header file is it includes the console input output library functions. The getCS function is defined in conio.h file. So if you are using that getCS function in your code, to get it execute this getCS function, you need to include this console.io.h file. Now the start of the program, that is void main, and this is the end of the program. This is the main program, main math function, which uses the opening curly bracket and closing curly bracket. Opening curly bracket indicates beginning of the main function and closing curly bracket indicates end of the main function. So main function is the entry point of every program in C++. This is the entry point. From this point your program gets started executing. The void keyword specifies that it returns no value. Okay, void indicates this function doesn't return anything. That you are learning C language, same is used here. Then clear screen. It will do the clear screen. Next statement is cout, and that less than symbol 2 times. And we have written one string that is welcome to C++ programming. So this cout is similar to printf statement in C. It is used to print the string on the console, on the terminal, or on the computer. It is used to print the data welcome to C++ programming on the console. Keep in mind this cout statement is similar to your printf statement. Only thing is there is difference between the syntax. Here it is they are using the cout less than symbol 2 times, and then you have to mention the string that you want to print on the terminal. You have to put the string in double quotation, and at the end you have to do the semicolon. Semicolon indicates end of the statement. Next, get ch. It will hold your output for some time till you enter or till you press a key. The getSage function asks for single character. Until you press any key, it blocks the screen. So once you press any key, it will go out from that screen. So this is a simple program. So this is our first include statement, that is iostream.h, that you need to add. What is the purpose of this iostream.h is this is used for this cout or C. Next, you have to make use of include conio.h. What is the use of this statement? To include the header file. This console.ioh header file will consist the definition of this getSage function. So you need to add this header file to get execute this getSage function. This is the void main. This is the start of the function, and this is the end of the function. So this is the entry point of your code. Then clear screen, we'll do the clear screen. Whatever already present on the console will get cleared. Then this cout statement is similar. Again, I'm repeating. It is similar to printf statement. It will print the string on the terminal. This semicolon indicates end of the statement. And then getSage will hold your output for some time. And once you press a key, it will get out from that output screen. And at the end, closing curly brackets indicates end of the main function. So this is your simple C++ program. So next is C++ keywords. What are the different C++ keywords? So before that, what is keyword? Keyword is a reserved word. You cannot use it as a variable name or constant name. It is called as keyword. Again, I am going to repeat. This keyword is a reserved word by the system that you cannot use for giving the name for your variable, giving the name for your constant. So what are the different keywords in C++ programming language? So first is atto. Next is break. You are familiar with these keywords. Next is case. Then character, to declare the character variable. Next is constant, const, that is to declare the constant. Next is continue. It is used to continue the loop. Next is default. That is used in the switch case. Next is do, to begin your do while loop. Next is double. It's a data type. S, enumeration, that is enum. Extern, float, for, that is for loop. Go to that particular statement. Integer, long. These are the different data types. Register, to mention the register. Return, to return something from the function. Then short, again it is data type. Signed, again it is data type. Size of, again it is keyword to calculate the size of particular data type. Static, to make a particular variable static. Struct, to mention the structure. Switch, to choose from different cases we are using the switch statement. Type definition, union, unsigned, void, volatile. So all these are keywords that you are familiar with. All these keywords are present in C programming language. While. Now we are going to see the keywords that you are unaware about it. That is ASM, dynamic cast, namespace, reinterpret cast, bool, that is boolean, explicit, new, static cast. New is used to create the object. Next is false, catch, operator, template, friend, private, and class. Next is this, inline, public, throw, constant cast, delete, mutable, protected. Next is true, try, type ID, type name, using, virtual, wcat underscore t. So these are the different keywords are present in C++ programming language. So we are going to learn these keywords as and when they came into the picture while we are going to learn in C++ language. Next is C++ data types. A data type specifies the type of the data a variable can store, such as integer, floating, character, etc. So you are familiar with the data types in C. Same data types are used with some addition into it. So data types in C++ are divided into three parts. First is built-in data types. Next is derived data types. Next is user-defined data types. Built-in data types means they are already present in the system. For example, character, integer, long integer, float, double, void. All these are called as built-in data types because they are already present or built in the system. Next data type is called as derived types. They have derived from something, that's why it is called as derived types. So there are two data types in it. First is array and next one is pointer. Next is user-defined data types. What is meant by user-defined data types is these data types are defined by user. That's why this is called as user-defined data type. So first is structure. In structure, you are going to define different elements and you are building a structure using the struct keyword. That's why it is called as user-defined. Next is union, enum, and class. All these are called as user defined data types because you are going to define that data type. In class, in enum, union, you are going to decide the elements into it as per the requirement of the program. That's why these are called as user defined data types. So we are going to see different data types. First column is data type. Second column is memory size. Next is range. So we are going to learn one by one. So first is character data type. What is the size of character data type? It is 1 byte. 1 byte means how many bits? Anyone?
Eight.
1 byte means how many bits?
8 bits.
8 bits. Okay,
8 bits.
fine. So 1 byte means 8 bits, and the range is from minus 128 to 127. This is the range of this character. Just mute yourself. Next is sign character. In sign character, again size of the data type is 1 byte and range is minus 128 to 127. So in this we have a sign for the character. Unsigned character. In unsigned character, again we are having the size is 1 byte and range is 0 to 127. Next is short, wherein we have a memory size of 2 bytes. That is 16 bits. And the range is from minus 32768 to 32767. Next is sign short. It's a 2 byte. Again, ranges from minus 32768 to 32767. Next is unsigned short. In this unsigned short, total memory size is 2 bytes and range is from 0 to 32767. Next is integer. Its size is 2 bytes. Range is minus 32768 to 32767. Sign integer. Again same memory size and range is same, but this having sign, that is plus and minus. Unsigned integer. Again it's 2 bytes. Range is from 0 to 32767. Next is short integer. Again memory size is 2 bytes. Range is minus 32768 to 32767. Sign short integer. Again its memory size is 2 bytes. Same range, but it's having sign. Unsigned short integer. There are total 2 bytes memory size and range is from 0 to 32767. So some of the more data types and memory size, I am not going to mention the size because size is too much. Long integer, that is for 4 bytes. Next is signed long integer, it is for 4 bytes. Unsigned long integer, it is for 4 bytes. Float, it is for 4 byte. Double, it is for 8 byte. Long double, it is for 10 bytes. According to the size of the data type, range are varying. If you are increasing